What's up there, YouTubers and fellow riders? The Kim is back at it again in the garage. Just got here, my new 25th anniversary 1600 mile GSXR 750 engine, and I kind of wanted to show you the unboxing of it. And this just came today, no more than a few hours ago. And I originally purchased this motor, and you can probably look them up on eBay as well. They are Riley. He is Riley's Motorsports, located at 515 JI West Road, Islands, Kentucky 42350. So yeah, this is where I got that motor from. I got it shipped directly to my house for $14.50, and the box came in pretty good condition. It seems to be pretty well wrapped and solid. So this is my first time going to open it up. So let me go ahead and get to that. Alright guys, so I lost audio at this point of the video, but I kind of wanted to go over a few things with you and explain that if you do receive an engine, and even though we saw this engine actually working in a YouTube video provided by the seller, we want to go ahead and take a look at things for ourselves now that the engine is out and we have access to it. So in this part of the video, I'm going to actually show you an in-depth inspection of the actual head, and we're going to take a look at the spark plugs, and we're also going to take a look at the intake of where the throttle bodies sit. So I'm going to provide you guys with a nice endoscope view of the internals, and so we can actually see how many miles, or get a rough idea of how many miles this bike actually has in it by looking inside the internals, taking a look at the piston heads and taking a look at the actual valve. And basically what we're looking for is a lot of carbon buildup. High mileage vehicles usually have a high amount of carbon buildup deposits on the valve seats and stems, and you will also see this on the head of the pistons. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that, and you also want to make sure that you inspect all your sensors for in good condition, since they are attached to the motor. Now would be a good time to actually put them on a meter, test them out, and make sure we check for the condition of the sensors as well. Also, I want to take note that you want to inspect the body of the motor and make sure there's no cracks in the engine casing or any signs of leakage. Alright guys, so looking at these spark plugs, they look a little black, and they got this solvent smell to them, which is kind of weird. Maybe they cleaned out the engine or the top of the head. I'm not quite sure, but nonetheless, they smell like they smell like a solvent, and they're not in bad condition, but they are black. They're not really gunked up, which tells me this bike is running a little bit rich. So something to account for when I go ahead and start her up. So okay, we'll put these off to the side right now, and we're gonna go ahead and take a look inside the engine with my endoscope. Give me 1 second. Alright guys, so I'm not sure if you can quite hear me, but I got my endoscope here ready, and I'm about to take a look into cylinder number 1. Let's go ahead and do that.
carbon buildup on there. Doesn't look too bad. If I were to show you the pictures of the 98,000 mile engine, you could not see the top of the cylinder head. Cylinder number 3. And cylinder number 4. Alright, so those didn't look too bad. They look in pretty good condition. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the valves now. And move over to the number 1 side. Now, these valves actually don't look too bad. You can see on the stem, there's no buildup really on the stem. There's very light carbon buildup on the actual head of it. So I would say it looks pretty good. Alright guys, so we're back here. I went ahead and I cleaned up the spark plugs, and to give you an idea of what clean spark plugs look like as opposed to those dirty foul ones, this is them. I took down, I sanded them down with some 400 grit, cleaned off the electrodes and the back part of it, and they look a little bit decent now. Might be changing these out in a bit. I'm just going to slap them in for the first test run to see how it goes. But at any rate, you want to make sure that these aren't all fouled up. If they are black, or if they are moist or wet, you obviously got an issue going on. Since I don't have the original throttle body, I'm going to be using the one off my bike, and I went ahead and did a fine job of cleaning that up once again. And so we're gonna go ahead and slap in these spark plugs and see what we get with my throttle body and the adjustments that are on that. So let's go ahead and move over to the engine real quick. And so when you get a new engine, you want to go ahead and inspect it. Now I went ahead and showed you guys the video footage and the snapshots of the internals inside there and how it looks, and it's pretty decent. You can see inside there I threw in some carb clean, throttle body cleaner, I'm sorry, to clean this out a little bit, try to break off some of that buildup on there, but that'll burn off once we start off the bike, so not to worry about that. It is a little moist down there, so they're just kind of soaking at the moment. But looking at this, you also want to inspect your seals here, make sure they're not cracked or damaged in any way, and these actually look really good. They actually look brand new, and they should be, being that this bike has 1,600 miles on it, so or this motor does anyways. So you want to make sure you inspect all your rubbers and look for any signs of cracking or tearing or whatnot, and if they are cracked, you want to go ahead and change these out for some new ones. Fortunately for me, I have a backup motor. Since my motor is sitting still on the bike, I could pull these off if these were bad, but these are actually in really good condition. Moving on over to the exhaust side, and I have to get underneath this thing real quick. I wanted to take a look at the rings here, and I actually pulled one off for you guys to see what kind of condition these are in. And since this bike is supposedly only has 1,600 miles, these things should actually look new. And I went ahead and removed one out of here, and we'll move to the table so I can show you what the exhaust rings look like when they are new. And these actually look really good. So if not, they would be worn unevenly around here, around the edges. Now the ones in my bike, in my current engine right now, as you might have saw the video, I recently replaced them. I might just go ahead and pop those out and pop these ones into there, and since those are 100% brand new, but these actually look really good. And when these go bad, you will have a very uneven rough edge around there. These will be all black in color, kind of like inside of here, and they'll be falling apart if they were bad. But these actually look really good, so I'm pretty impressed on that part. And we're gonna go ahead and slap that in here right now. So just doing my checks and balances before I actually insert this motor into the bike. So okay, so that's in there, so that's good. Alright, so I just removed the bolts from the pair reed, and we're gonna take a first look at them and see what they look like. The inside channel looks actually pretty good. It's nice and clean. So normally a bike with a lot of miles will have a lot of buildup in here and be nice and dirty, but fortunately these are clean. Let's go ahead and take a look at the pair reed. And these actually could use a little bit of cleaning, but they're not that bad. You know, I've seen worse. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean these out and make them nice and new. They should be silver looking, so yeah, these have a little bit of buildup on, a little bit of carbon buildup, but not that bad. And let's go ahead and take a look at the other one. Okay, there we go. And not that bad, actually pretty clean. So just probably go over it with a rag real quick. But these ones, again, I'm gonna probably clean these ones up as well. Okay, so I just want to show you guys real quick what a dirty and a clean reed valve looks like. So you might hear me say pair reed, you know, I mean, it's interchangeable, but the valve is not sitting anywhere inside here. The valve is actually off the bike, or sitting on the bike at the moment. But these are your reeds, and they call them reeds because they do mimic reeds like on a saxophone. But this is what an actual reed looks like, and this is actually the tensioner that holds it down in place. This is the clean reed. After I cleaned it, and I just basically went over it with some acetone and removed off all the dirt and grime or the carbon buildup, however you choose to call it. But if you can see the backside, those are all dirty. If we go ahead and flip this backside over, see if I can get it out. This one's kind of stuck in it. And they stick pretty good. And so that's a clean one. So again, this helps with the emissions, or extruding the exhaust gases out. So again, if you're getting a popping during decel when you let go of that throttle, chances are your pair reed, your reeds are dirty and they need cleaning. So this is how you clean them. So take some acetone, go ahead and wipe them down, and clean up all the gunk off the mess. I gotta clean up the backside of this thing, but a little bit. But at any rate, this is what they look like. And in case you're wondering how they go back in, they have a notch here for each one. So if you pull them out and lose the place of how they go, you just look for those two notches, line them up on top of each other, stick it back in, and then put your screw back in. So that's how that's done. Alright guys, so I went ahead and went through the parts that I could possibly go through without actually having to go into the engine, just check and see if everything was alright. I went ahead and checked the spark plugs, cleaned them out. We saw that they were foul and dirty, so I went ahead and cleaned them up with some acetone and sanded them down with some sandpaper, and those came out looking good. I also checked the gap on the spark plugs, so it's 0.028 or all the way up to I think it's 0.032 for the gapping on the spark plugs, and those checked out fine. I also went ahead and cleaned her up a little bit on the outside. You know, took some degreaser and made it look a little bit new, cleaned up the hoses and whatnot. I haven't had a chance to inspect the clutch cable, but I'll do that when I put the bike back on. And for the most part, this engine was almost clean in itself, and so it didn't really take much, but I went ahead and kind of degreased it down, get all the dirt that was on there. So not much on there. Everything looks really in tip-top shape. Pretty impressed with this purchase, and tomorrow I will be installing her. And yeah, just to give you a fair warning, if you're going to do your engine install, you are going to need a spanner removal tool, and this is to remove the castle nut that holds in two of the frame bolts on the right side, I believe it is. So this spanner tool, you're going to see it. I actually purchased this. This is the Motion Pro, and the number, if I zoom in here, is 08-0568. This fits the 04 and the 05 Suzuki. You're going to see a lot of tutorials on the internet about how to make your own spanner tool out of a socket, and a lot of them are saying that it is a 19mm socket. That is incorrect. What I have here is a 19mm socket, and you're going to see that this fits exactly in there, and it will get you nowhere near close to what you need to actually get that off. This is actually a 24mm socket, and if you're going to make your own spanner tool, you're going to make one of these out of your socket. You want to make sure you have the right socket first, and as you can see, it mates up with the teeth, and you're going to carve your own teeth out of a socket. But if it was me, it's $30 purchase. I think it's well worth it. Don't want to go ahead and ruin my sockets. I don't have any old 24mm, so yeah. But if you do want to make your own spanner socket removal tool, that's how you do it, and you can find that on the internet. I'm not sure if I'll show me making one. It's very easy to make. You just take a Dremel tool and you cut your teeth. So basically you cut out one whole tooth in here, and I believe it's every other tooth or every third tooth that you need to cut. But at any rate, you can look online and you can see how you do that. It's all over the GSXR forums, and yeah. So at any rate, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. This is a brief little synopsis of what I have coming tomorrow. As always, I'll see you next problem.